Hello everyone. I can only apologise that the fan is on. It's very, very warm up here. But I figured we'd try and do a stream during some intense heat, see what it's like. Might be awful, might be fine. I hope you're all coping well. We are back in another set of... well, another week of heat. And today we're going to be trying to finish off some... well, we're going to try and finish off one of the Votan models that we need to do. That's what we're going to try and do today. Not sure we're worth it. Surprised you were braving the heat. Well, I'm trying my best. It's worth it to try and stop the rot, as it were. So here we are. This is what we're going to be doing. This is the guy. This is the Memnyr Strategist that we've been working on. Here he is. He's looking pretty good. At least I think so. So this is what we're gonna hopefully try and get finished today. We are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 or 7 steps away from finishing him. He's pretty far along, to be honest. So that's what we're going to try and do. It's going to be slightly different to what we normally do as well with the filming live, because obviously the fan is on. So there's going to be a lot of me kind of saying replace the audio and stuff. But I'll still keep you guys up to date as to what we're doing as we're going along. But it's a little bit more chilled today. You don't have to be quiet on set, as it were. Is his crotch holding a data pad? Yes, that's exactly what's going on. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Memnyr. Yes. This guy. I'm going to build a corporation. I like it. I like it. So yeah, a couple of steps left to go on him. So that's what we're going to do next. So the next one is going to be some Rune Lord brass. And don't worry, there is a video for this coming. And I had an idea just before we went live of how to do the Capricus Defender. I kind of want to do it not really as a... it's not really a custom scheme, but it kind of is. But I kind of want to do it as like a localized security vehicle, as it were. That's my plan, at least. With it, so I'm gonna do kind of like a sort of like quite a sleek black scheme, which should look pretty cool for it. So like a PMC almost. Like a futuristic one. It's been a little minute since I've done any proper painting, because today, and I hope all 34 people watching currently right now will join me in wishing the wonderful Alice a happy birthday, because today is her birthday. We did lots of birthday stuff yesterday. A lovely day. But today is her birthday. So, chat, wish Alice a happy birthday. Good evening, Josh, and all in chat. Hello, Colonel. I hope that everyone had a great weekend and looking forward to a good week. I am looking forward to a good week. I hope it's not too hot. And we are going to turn off the music for when we do. I love how I can do a whole hero to battle ready in a day and then seemingly need to spend 5 weeks to work up the courage to highlight his horse and cloak. Have to do it since I've done it on the others. I would be the same if I didn't have to get videos done. I like getting things to battle ready and then I'm like, huh. It's good to stop there. But I can't because I have to get videos done. Lots of happy birthday messages for Alice. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. She'll pass on her thanks, I'm sure. But right, so we're going to do a quick bit of filming here. So we just need to go across to this. But like I said, the fan is on and stuff, so it's basically going to be a case of what we're going to do here is we're going to say replace audio, Rune Lord brass, relayer, brass details. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some thinned down Rune Lord brass. I'm going to use this to relayer the kind of dome details. So we're going to go for the faceplate just in here. We're not going to do all of it, we just want to kind of get a nice shiny faceplate in there basically, but just avoid all that lovely shading in the deepest, darkest recesses. Like that sort of thing. And we're going to do the same thing for all of our little domes. Like this one up here. And so on and so forth. There we go. Simple as that. It's a non-optimal environment today for filming, but the show must go on. For that is what the show does. It's hot over here in the West Coast. Is it? It's not as hideous as it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's still a very warm day today. And because I went to the doctor's on Friday to talk about my knee, she said she prescribed me walks and stretches. And it's kind of poorly timed, but today I went for a little walk, just 20 minutes up and down the road, just to kind of try and look after myself a little bit. My knee is of course very painful today, but it's fine. We shall soldier on is what we shall do, and we'll keep trying to get better, because you know we want to do this for many years to come. There we go. Rune Lord brass is all done. I forgot to put mince pies out for Alice Eve last night. Don't worry, she will have got into your cupboards and found them. She actually doesn't like mince pies. I like mince pies though, so she brings them back for me. I see Warhipster let GW show us more MESBG models. Why does he keep blue balling us and not letting them show the new Riders of Rohan sculpts? Yeah, that Josh guy is an awful person. Because it's not me, because I have no control, as you guys know. Did you see the new book, Josh, Abraxia Spear of the Air of Chosen? I did. I saw it previewed. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that one. That should be good. Barry has been on an adventure this weekend. Yes, you went to an event, didn't you? As I recall, Blethen was telling us. How was it? Did you have a good time? Trust me, Josh. Walks and stretches are better than surgery in some cases. Just go easy on your knee. No, I know that, Colonel. It's a case of I would like a scan if there's something going on in there that is not perhaps what was guessed at, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm just gonna try and do. I know this is gonna sound so stupid, but I work a lot. I don't know if you guys know this. I work for many hours every day. Something gets done, and that means that I'm here. I'm sat right here every day, sometimes for 12 to 16 hours. Obviously yesterday was a little bit less. Got some models built, didn't get any painting done, but got some models built, which was good. So anyway, because I'm such a, let's just call it a workaholic, as it were, because you know it's what's required when you do this job. It means that I don't really take care of myself in the ways that I should. So I'm gonna try my darndest to try and do a 20-minute walk every day, as a minimum starting point, and see if we can get further than we did today. We managed to get all the way up the road. That was good. Almost to the junction, but tomorrow we're going to try and go a little bit further. I'm just going to try it. Just gonna give it a go. And if it starts to hurt, take a little rest and then just go again. I was watching a sprue review video yesterday and was wondering if you would do one for the new MESBG plastics. Is that a worthwhile video to make? Which new MESBG plastics? Would that be the Warriors of Rohan and the Dunlendings on that? Because, my friend, we've already done it. It's live here on the channel. There are some things where it's kind of like, is this necessary? But yeah, we did do War of the Rohirrim, and that included some. I think that included some resin models. I can't remember now. It's been a little while. Our first GT, really good time. Both managed to win one game. Well done, well done. It's not easy. Age of Sigmar. It's a difficult game to play, as I discovered. 40k is easy. Stand at one end of the battlefield and shoot. Meaning Helm, Freyalaf, etc. We'll see. We'll see if it's worthy of it. It's not. To my mind, and I would be interested to get you guys, the audience's take on this. To my mind, doing a sprue review of a model. So, I mean, I know they've said that it's a box of 6 models, but doing a sprue review, a whole sprue review, means that the whole Saturday video gets taken up looking at those sprues, which isn't a bad thing per se, but I don't know how valuable it is. And chat. You guys said probably don't want to see it in the painting videos because it ends up being like a 5-minute block at the beginning of a video. We can see though, you know, I do them because I like doing them. They add a lot of time to the building experience. Sometimes when it's just a couple of characters, it's just easier for me to just power through, build it in like less than, you know, the hour and a half that it takes. Without all the kind of setup and shoot, but we can see. We'll see what is going on. If that box with Freyalaf, Olwyn, and the other one, Leaf, and Helm Hammerhand all happen at the same time, maybe we can do it. We'll see. I am sad about the analyst mad Professor Head hitting the bits box. I know, Fake Street Spirit. I was the same. But as soon as I saw that connection point right in the top of the bald head between the 2 bits of hair, I was like, for me, it's like, I just don't want to build that. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't mean that people who like building aren't gonna avoid it, but I'm so fat-thumbed when it comes to building. I end up taking off the I'll end up flattening the head, as it were. And so for me it goes in the bits box, but for all of you, not necessarily. Whoa. You do a lot of working with an airbrush, right? Thanks, Ed. Sure. I have really bad knees. Comes with being 6'7", and I've been a daily walker for the last 5 years. Knees are better, and weight is 100 pounds down. Congratulations! That's awesome. It's an amazing achievement. Well done. Hello, Niall. I used to walk a lot because I used to have real jobs. When I lived in London, I used to walk everywhere. I would quite often, I would have a walk that would take me past a couple of tube stops as well, just to make my time on the tube less, is what I would do. So like when I lived in Tooting, I would walk across the bridge because I used to work in Holborn. Um, so I would actually walk along the river across the bridge and then jump on the train rather than do the change in the underground. I would do the walk instead. But yeah, no, I used to walk a lot, but because my office is now upstairs, the most I do is go upstairs. And it's just, just gonna try it. We'll see. I'll try and you guys can try and keep me honest, as it were. Try and make sure that I'm looking after myself. Right, let's thin down some canoptic alloy, shall we? Can't wait for the new Votan videos. I love your colour scheme. Oh, that's very kind of you. I don't know if I'm actually going to do any of the yellow ones. Only because I feel like we've covered it. It doesn't really need more. And all the others are characters. And generally in my scheme, the characters are painted base box art anyway. So the only real ones to do in that scheme would have been the Chthonian Earthshakers or the Steeljacks. But I've done the Steeljacks in box art. I don't know if I'm going to do the Earthshakers because I'm not sure if I have time or if I really want to. But we'll see. We'll see how this week goes. But I'm not optimistic because it's very, very warm all week and I've got loads to do. Small world. I have the exact same journey in London. Really? Live in Tooting, work in Holborn. That's awesome. It's because the journey was just such a hassle when I first started doing it. I was like, I have to go all the way up here and then change here and blah 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 blah. And I was doing it at rush hour, and I was just like, no, I'll just walk it. That's fine. Right, here we go. Let's do another bit of filming. Replace audio, canoptic alloy, relayer and highlight. So with that all done, we're then going to take some canoptic alloy and we're going to similarly do a little bit of relayering just around the kind of frontward facing and most shiny parts of the domes. So just like that, really polish it up to a mirror sheen. But what we're also going to do with the canoptic alloy is we're going to use this to highlight all of the other Rune Lord brassy bits. There we go. I have to move pretty quickly because obviously the paint's drying out really quickly today. So I do apologise if at any point I just sort of disappear for a moment. And as I've also said, the fan is on, so I can only apologise for that background noise as well. Do tell me if it is really disturbing your enjoyment of the stream. There's not a lot I can do about it other than, turn it off and sweat. But if that's what you want to see, then, super chat now to make me suffer. We have fun, don't we, chat? can't tell if I've gotten it all. I think I have. Nearly. Yeah. I am doing a 1,000,000 steps challenge to raise money for diabetes. It's a good way to make you walk, even just a bit each day. I'm only doing 500,000 steps because I have fibromyalgia. Oh, that's awesome. Sean, if you could drop a link to that fundraiser, please do drop the link into the Discord for everyone to see. If you'd like to support Sean on her 1,000,000 steps challenge, then guys, you should. I will as soon as I get paid. Do you have a deadline on when it's going to finish? Colonel says, hit, lick, slap, or smack the like button, you heretics. Show some love to Mr. Josh. He's absolutely spot on. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Who the heck is Jack? With a 200 US dollar he does. This is a bribe, not a payment for suffering, unless you count the low views on the intended bribe content, in which case, yes, it's a bribe for suffering. Roger that, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Thank you very much. Who the heck is Jack? I worked for 20 years in the foundry business, so don't trust my ears. I spent many, many years going to lots and lots of gigs and sticking my head in the bass cone, so I have a permanent ringing as well. Just happened. Also, being on stage and being super sexy rock star and all that. I didn't have ear protection. I'm successfully unemployed. Congrats, Captain Manrings. Are you okay? Are you happy that the redundancy's over, not happy that you're redundant? Is that the kind of vibe that you're out of at the moment? Good news, the next print is started. Just another week of non-stop printing and I'll have a big piece of terrain I'll never paint for an army I'm unlikely to finish. Perfection. Was watching your Lumineth Realm Lords video. What made you stop doing videos like that? It was cool. What did I do in the Lumineth Realm Lords video? It was Battle Tome video. Hell yes, the awesome Warhipster. That's me. Why did I stop doing the Battletome videos? Why did I stop doing them? I think the reason I stopped doing them was because the take-up on them wasn't particularly great. They were a lot of work, and I didn't like the format so much. Now, I do have an idea to bring back a series of looking at books. And I've got a really fun idea for it. I just need to figure out how long it's going to take. I am going to try one out soon. So if you see something come up about a battle tome, do give it a watch and let me know what you think. Because I've got an idea for a format, I just don't know if it's going to work. It's kind of building off of that last format, but kind of making... because those last formats of videos, what I did is I ended on a list and talked about why I liked it. I think I want to pull that front and center and build out a review of a battle tome around the list. So like, you know, you just go you know, putting in 6, for example, putting 6 prosecutors into a list means that when you use the Stormcast Eternals thing to bring back a unit at half strength, you're pulling back in another 12-inch moving super strong bird unit, which can help you with the late game objectives, as it were, for just 1 CP, as it were. It's that kind of thing, so it's building it around like that. Gents, this is your reminder to get outside and do some physical exercise / activity. Walks are great. Gym is great. Anything. Thank you, Mr. Drafty Pants. I've done my exercise for the day. I did my walk. I did my 20-minute walk. I was a much lighter man a long time ago. How are you going to flesh out the format? The question is, right, the question I want to put to you, I think a lot of rules content gets framed around whether something's bad or whether something's good. And I don't want to frame it that way. Instead, what I want to frame it around is there is an opportunity to hobby all the time. There's an opportunity to do something, and nobody should ever feel like, oh, I've made the bad choice by doing the bad book or the bad unit or whatever. So, to couple that with a question that comes up every so often, I want to do a format that is based around that question, but you'll see what I mean when it comes up. It's quite an active playlist that's on today. I was very active this weekend. I ran all over Cairo. I did the same thing. Ed. I also ran all over a mountain range that was covered in little tiny flashing lights. And I'm excited to do it again next weekend. We shouldn't feel bad for the bad choice, but what if I picked Admech for 40k? No, you shouldn't feel bad for that. Admech are cool, just maybe they're struggling on the tabletop right now. Steps go until the end of September. Awesome. Yeah, if you're fundraising, Sean, and you want to put it into the Discord, please do. By all means. So with that Canoptech alloy now applied, what we're going to... Wait, hang on. Replace audio, iron breaker, highlighting silver. So with that Canoptech alloy all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down iron breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the silver details around the model. Where in Discord? General chat. Yeah, general chat will work. Right. See you in 4 million years whilst I highlight all of this silver. I had hoped that this week would be considerably cooler, and that I would be able to try and get the Capricus and the Chthonian Earthshakers done. At the moment, I'm not optimistic because of how the weather is shaping up to be this weekend, but we shall see. I have committed definitely to getting this guy and the Arcanist Evaluator done, and so I will do my darndest to get them both done. So there will be Votan painting videos for Buri Aegnisson, the Ironkin Steeljacks, and the Memnyr Strategist and the Arcanist Evaluator. But we shall have to see about the Capricus and the Chthonian Earthshaker. Because I'm a busy boy, I got a lot to do, you see. And I don't have a lot of time to do it in because of we're now going to be hitting sort of 30 degrees Celsius outside all week, which means that up here it becomes sort of 36, 38. And if it goes any hotter than that, then it starts to, start kind of being at like 40 degrees, which is just incredibly unsafe and uncomfortable for me to work in. So my painting time becomes reduced to about 4 to 6 hours a day, which is less than ideal when you're trying to get a bunch of videos done. But it might be that we can get a ton of stuff built as well, because there's a lot of things to build over the coming weeks and months. And I've got a video I need to write as well. Yep, that's right. We're going for a full written video. It's gonna have a plan and everything. Because one thing you guys might not know about the production processes around here at Warhipster Towers is very little of it is written down before we go. We usually just flip the camera on and go, which is fun, and it's much more efficient for me to do it that way because it means I'm not fitting to a previous idea. Because once I write something down and get it confirmed that way, I'm then like a absolute stickler for not wanting to change it. I'm like, no, I had the plan was cool, and it's like, yeah, but the plan might not have been cool. Can you tell I don't work well in corporate structures? That's why I have to be self-employed now, you see. Can we get a sneak peek at the strategist? We can. There he is. We're highlighting the silver at the moment. Something like that. Why are his hands in that pose? What is he holding? He's not holding anything. He's Mr. Burnsing it. He's doing that whilst he comes up with strategies. You see. Who the heck is Jack with a $300? What are you doing to me, brother? Further bribe because he. Stop with the bribery. You don't want us to get. You don't want to invite that kind of criticism or scrutiny. That's very kind of you, buddy. Thank you so much. I'm bribing you. I thought that was clear. Well, it is clear because you keep saying it. You'll get your MESBG videos, don't you worry, sir. Depending on how things go this week. Again, this is what I mean about time and the weather being a problem. If the weather wasn't so warm, there was potential this week that I would have time to knock out a MESBG video. Now, hopefully that plan stays the same. It just depends on how efficiently I get through some of the stuff I have to do this week, because, like I said, there is a lot to do this week. We should just have to wait and see. If I can get this guy finished today, and I can get the not Memnyr Strategist, this is the Memnyr Strategist. I can get the Arcanist Evaluator at least, maybe battle ready. Then we're looking pretty good. It just depends on how fast it cools down, you see. Because the painting time at night is very valuable. But if it takes ages for it to clear down, as it were, then it becomes just gets later and later, and I run out of stuff to build. Because I don't like to build too many miniatures. Because they end up in a to paint pile that is exceptionally long. So in many ways, it's actually easier for them to stay in the packaging until I can reduce some of that queue, and I need to reduce some of that queue. But that queue does include the Votan. It includes a couple of Patreon models. I've got quite a few of those to do. But yeah, we're hoping. Well, I'm hoping at least that this week I'm not too debilitated by the heat. But we shall see. No, my silver paint is drying out. Hungry Bert has been a member for 19 months. Thank you very much, Hungry Bert. We could invest the money into air conditioning. We do have one. It's running right now in the background. On the lowest possible setting, so as not to be as intrusive to the stream as possible. It means that whatever I record is effectively ruined because it's got the fan noise on there, but that's why I'm saying replace audio when I'm doing these. So I've got a little note to myself to re-record the voiceover, as it were. But I don't know about you guys, but I hope you're as excited as I am that this week it's going to be, hopefully, content every day. Because right now, we're working on our third. This is our third Votan video. Because the Steeljacks and Bury Agnes are already ready for editing. As some of you will know. So those are two videos that are on the way. This is the third one. Hopefully we stream on Wednesday. Again, weather permitting. So yeah, it's been a while since we've had a content everyday week. But you lucky ducks are getting one this week, hopefully. If I can't go live on Wednesday, I might put a video out instead. We'll have to see. There's a lot of ifs and buts. Candies and nuts. Yeah, I think the silver's all done. We're all good. I just updated my models painted 2025 spreadsheet. 61 so far. Seems a fair few. Do you recommend aiming for 100 for the year, or is that putting pressure on myself? I don't know if that's putting pressure on yourself. I feel like that's a really attainable goal. What I would do, and this is what I used to do whenever I used to kind of set goals, particularly a long time ago, I used to set like fitness goals and stuff. What I would do is set a goal that's achievable, set a push goal. So you could say, oh, I want to get to 75 models, for example. Or 100 models, and then set yourself 120 as a push goal. And if you're like me, you'll draw an association of 120 is the push goal, but 100 is a massive success anyway. So like my goal this year is 500. I don't have a push goal for this because I know that realistically I could get to 600 because I've done it before. I just don't really want to do it again, but we'll have to see what happens. If I get to 500 like in the next month and a half, which is unlikely. But if I get to 500 in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks, then it's entirely likely that I will push for 600. Fully agree, Josh. Easier to store in the box. I have too many products waiting for paint and running out of room for built minis. Yeah, I've got so many built minis, they're just all over the place. So if bribes are how this channel works now, how much for a Lord Vigilant on Morgriff? That's not how this channel works. It's fan funding. And you know, when you guys say, here's this for this, I buy it, and then it happens eventually. There are some stuff that hasn't happened yet, but that's because it's in the happens eventually pile. Loved the Vulcan video. Oh, thank you. I wish that faction had more model support. It's such a beautiful scheme. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, James. I played around with a really funny Salamanders list earlier, and I was like, this is a bit much. But it had, it was 30... I need to skip this because it's hurting my ears. I played around with a fun Salamanders list earlier, which was 30 Infernus Marines, 18 Eradicators, 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts, Vulcan Adrax, and then, like, the stuff I already had. 5 Terminators and 5 Stern Guard. And I was like, yep, everything's got a Flamer, everything's got a Melter. But why not having a wish list section? You mean for me to have a wish list section on the channel? The reason I don't have one of those is because my wish list actually isn't that long, and it's your guys' wish lists that are very, very, very long. Justice for Bard's family says, eventually doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I'm telling you, it's eventually. Eventually we'll do it. I'm not going to give dates, because I will inevitably miss them. If I'm sat painting Justice for... If I'm sat painting Bard's family, right, and the new Hellsmiths of Hashut drop, I get to go, hey guys, I painted the worst models Games Workshop's ever made, whilst everyone else is like, look at these Chaos Dwarves. And I'm like, yeah, and that was how Josh got sad. Sounds like a fun list though. Oh no, it would be fun. Everything would be on fire all of the time. It's what you want from a Salamander's army. It's a lot of green. Oh boy, is it a lot of green. Right, I think the next job here is some Liberator Gold. There's only like 2 areas for that. What I need to look at is the picture, because I want to look at his screen. Memnyr Strategist. There he is. Yeah, it's got orange as a little map, and then there's a green line on it for the route. That makes sense. That looks cool. I'm We should be able to do that. Oh no, it's going to be really annoying. We'll do something. It'll be alright. But thank you very much for the £2 super chat there, Justice for Bard's family. I appreciate it. We're going to have a democratic and a bribe one. I try, okay. I'm just one boy. See how long it takes me to paint things. We try our hardest to make sure the channel doesn't basically be a commission painting service, because I don't want it to be that, because I don't want to commission paint. So with all that iron breaker... No, wait, hang on. Replace audio. Liberator gold. So with all that iron breaker applied, we're then going to take some thinned down iron breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight our couple little areas of gold. Boom. Lovely. Okay. So, the next job is to put some Blood Angels Red over the top of that screen. And then we figure out how the deuce we're going to do the freehand on it. So that's going to be fun. Replace audio, Blood Angels Red, tablet. With our metallics all highlighted, it is now time to take some Blood Angels Red. We're going to apply this over the top of the screen on the tablet. There we go. Now we leave that to dry. Now we can talk. Hey. I wish my manhood had the ability to use a tablet too. As do I. Off subject, but do you recall how difficult it was to assemble the Seraphon Kroxigor miniatures? I don't. Let's see if past Josh had some thoughts on that. It would be... Let's have a look. Did we do... Actually, I don't know if we will have done a sprue review on it. Let's check the old... Did we do a sprue review on the Seraphon? I don't think I did. I can't recall, I'm afraid. It's a long time ago. No, I don't think I did. Yeah, no, I don't. Unfortunately, don't remember. The bribes to keep Josh from stressing out, not to apply more pressure to him needing to do the minis faster. It's about keeping him from being so worried about dollars that he feels like he isn't doing enough. The models will come. It will not be this day, but this day we fight. Are we fighting? Is it time to fight? We are going to do a Lord Vigilant on Morgriff. Don't you worry about it. It's going to happen. I'm super excited to see what you cook up for the Hellsmith. Me too. We'll have to see what happens when they get here. I'm primed and ready. Ready to pre-order. If Games Workshop doesn't send them to me. It's a new Age of Sigmar faction. That gets the blood pumping. Gets the heart racing. Gets the paint flowing. Just stumbled across this channel. Just painting Captain Centos tonight. Oh, that's awesome, Alistair. Alistair. However I say your name. I'm very sorry. You've just stumbled across the channel. And I can't even pronounce your name properly. I hope I said it right. I might not have done. I can only apologise. So when will GW release the new MESBG minis, since you have them all? Well, I don't have them. So I don't know. I don't know. Don't know at all. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to guess it's this year. Because they're talking about a book now. So if they're talking about a book, then that generally means that it's not far away. So in the next couple of months, I reckon. Before Christmas, at least, I would say. Is War of the Rohirrim available on DVD/Blu-ray/streaming? Is it? I don't know. Let's have a look. War of the Rohirrim. Blu-ray. Oh, it is. Okay. Interesting. I'd have thought it would have been released at the same time, but then of course I still live in a world where a Lord of the Rings movie comes out at Christmas and then it comes out on DVD the following year. Because I'm just a little baby. I should buy that, really. Just the concept of buying Blu-rays is weird. Did you see the delusion rule for Flesh Eater Courts? No. Have they been previewing some rules? Warhammer community. Way! Ah, delusions. A kingdom deluded. This is written brilliantly. You must use this ability at the start of each turn. If it is the first turn of the battle, pick a delusion from these battle traits, or, unless otherwise specified, from the war scroll of a friendly unit on the battlefield. Ooh! If it is not the first turn, make a delusion roll of d6. On a delusion roll of 1 to 2, you must pick a different delusion to the one you picked last turn. On a 3 to 4, you must pick the same delusion as the one you picked last turn, even if it is on the war scroll of a unit that has been destroyed. That's interesting. On a 5 to 6, you must pick a delusion like you did in the first turn. For the rest of the turn, you believe the delusion you picked. I believe it. Excellent. I believe that I've got +1 to hit. Well, I believe that you don't. Well, reality is subjective. No, it isn't. It is in Age of Sigmar. Way! That's cool. I like it. Is that, what is that? Does that mean that... Does that mean noble deeds are gone? Surely not. Doesn't say anything about noble deeds. Interesting. That sounds cool. It sounds cool. It's only weird if you make it weird, Josh. I can make it weird. I can make it a lot weirder. I honestly use your channel to gauge when stuff gets released most times. In what way? Do you look at it and go, well, 3 years ago, he did some Leagues of Votann, so that must mean that the Leagues of Votann are coming. It was on streaming like 4 weeks after it came out in theatres. I don't know if it came out in a stream that I have. I never saw it. It must be, though. I don't know. Maybe it's on Amazon Prime or something. I shall find out. Oh. Doesn't new FEC stuff go on sale this weekend? The pre-orders next week are, I want to say Flesh Eater Courts and Nighthaunt. Yes, Ghouls and Geists. Next week you'll be able to pre-order Battletome Flesh Eater Courts, High Falconer Felgrin, Spearhead Charnel Watch, The Scarlet Jury, by the looks of things. Flesh Eater Courts War Scroll cards and dice, Battletome Nighthaunt, The Lord Vitriolic, A Knight of Shrouds, Spearhead Cursed Shackle Horde, Nighthaunt War Scroll cards and dice, Abraxia Spear of the Chosen, the Spear of the Ever Chosen limited edition Black Library novel, The Legend of Sigmar novel, and there's some stuff that's happening on Warhammer Plus. So, you know, something for everyone, I guess. Except not for 40k. Nothing for the 40k fans. Old World and AOS fans, eat your heart out. An abundant, a feast of product. You could just say whatever you want for the role as you are deluded. Exactly. Exactly. I like it. Thoughts on the new MESBG models? I really like them. I think they're very pretty. They're not Riders of Rohan though, and that's what I really want to see. Riders of Rohan and Rohan Royal Guard, and then I want them to do. I want them to give Warriors of Minas Tirith the same treatment they gave Warriors of Rohan, and by that dint, I would also like them to do Mordor Orcs as well. That would be really cool if they gave them the same level of love and care and attention. That would be nice. That's my wish list for the next set of plastic warriors to get redone. Minas Tirith would be a bit of a problem though, because I have so many of them painted. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, no, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. And there's 27 in there that are done. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up here that are in progress. 7, 8, 9. I should have 36. 36 Warriors of Minas Tirith. And only 12 Rangers. Who said anything about meta play here? Should be 12. There should be 36 Warriors of Rohan as well. Somewhere. What I don't like about the new Nighthaunt Spearhead is that I now have to paint my Dreadblade Harrows to have a complete Spearhead for the Nighthaunt again. Well, your current Spearhead is still valid, I believe. Fire and Jade stuff is all still golden. These are just new ones that come with the Battle Tome. So if you do the Dreadblade Harrows, what you then have is 2 Spearheads, basically. At least that's how it's worked so far. Is that the stuff that's in Fire and Jade, all valid. None of it gets sunsetted. And then the Battle Tome brings you an additional one. Or 2. Or 3. Or 4. Is usually how it works. Because am I right in thinking, ladies and gentlemen, that Sand and Bone didn't bring a whole raft, it just brought a couple of them? Is that right? What makes you choose to use a contrast plus Larmian versus straight contrast on a model? Generally, if I want to just improve the flow a little bit, or I want to take some of the power out of the contrast paint to get a slightly different shade, usually that's why I mix it with medium. Yeah, there's always a reason. Either Larmian medium either makes it easier to blend, it makes it stay wetter for longer, makes it easier to apply, it dilutes the colour so it creates a slightly different shade. It does all of the things. Same thing that contrast medium does, but it's better at flow improving than contrast medium is. Contrast medium isn't as good at flow improving. What contrast medium is really good for is creating different shades of the same colour. So 1-to-1 mix of Blood Angels Red and contrast medium is half strength Blood Angels Red. Yeah, basically. So if you want a thinner red, like a lighter red, then a lighter shade of red will be 1-to-1 with contrast medium. If you want Blood Angels Red to be easier to apply to a model, Larmian medium's better. Which is that's why I do it, basically. There is a stream on the channel where I demonstrate all of that, and there is a video as well about thinning paints. It's all here on the channel. 4, I think. 4 only. Yeah, there wasn't that many new ones, was there? Right. I need to look at this picture again. Where are you, Memnyr Strategist? Memnyr Strategist.
Yes, Strategos.
Okay. It's done with orange. So we'll do orange. And we'll draw out a little map. We'll use Fire Dragon Bright to do it. Probably won't do it exactly the same as it is on the box art because I don't have that kind of dexterousness. But we'll do something very similar. Alright. Let's try this, shall we? Replace audio, Fire Dragon Bright, map, freehand. So with that all done, it's now time to add just a little bit of freehand over the top of the tablet. And the tablet is basically a map of some war zone that they're fighting in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Fire Dragon Bright. And in here what we're going to do is we're going to very carefully draw out just a little map basically. So we're going to start by drawing in like a big main road. Just like this sort of thing. There we go. And then what we'll do is around it, we're going to draw in some very tiny little lines to put in some structures for like the streets and things. That'll do for now. Add a little bit more. Ah. Anyway. Hello, Katara. Hello, Wolfin Grey Pondu. Right, whilst we wait for that to dry, what's going to be the green? What should we do? Let's just do, we've already used it in this video. We'll use Cyberite green. That makes sense to me. But before we do that, I feel like I should shade to give that, yeah. We'll use some Fugan orange to just merge that Fire Dragon Bright into the red a little bit. Just a little bit. Just adds like a little bit of a, just kind of set it as part of the scene, as it were. When I use Sterling Battlemire for a base, I shade it with Agrax before dry brushing. I notice you don't. Is there a reason? Yeah, it's because Sterling Battlemire, well, Sterling Mud these days. Sterling Mud is very dark. So when I dry brush with Tyrant Skull, it doesn't need any depth because the colour itself is providing the depth, and then the Sterling Mud is the highlight. In the same way as like, yeah, like if you had like a black soil, it wouldn't need shading, as it were. See what I mean? Basically. Also, I'm really lazy and I don't want to wait. I've already had to wait overnight for the Sterling to dry. I don't want to then wait an hour for all the shade to dry as well. Basically. Alright, let's just throw on some Fugan Orange, shall we? Let's do that. Filming. Bow. So with our little map drawn, what we're then going to do is we're going to... No, wait, sorry. Replace audio, Fugan Orange. So with our map drawn, what we're then going to do is we're going to shade the entire screen using some Fugan Orange. This is just to help kind of merge the colours together just a little bit, take the edge off the orange. Just kind of make it feel a little bit more part of the scene. Can you just roast and speed dry things in the violent sun? I mean, yeah, that's fine during a couple of weeks of the year, but it's not great during the winter. The map looks great, by the way. Thank you, Steve. It's very kind of you. We are having another heatwave here. Are you escaping it? No! Fully in the throes of it here. It is roastingly warm upstairs. I've got the aircon on, which is why you could probably hear a fan. I mean, I can see it on the level meter here. It's loud, and we're having to replace audio. So the end of this video, when it comes out, you'll know that I recorded that voiceover from the future rather than from the present. But we're very close to finishing this guy off. Very close indeed. He looks pretty finished to me. Sometimes I get to this stage and I'm like, I don't know if it looks as finished, but I feel like he looks pretty finished. I'm a big fan of this coat. I don't know if you guys really had a good look at it yet, but like, I'm a big fan of how this coat came out. It's a mix of Black Legion and Wildwood. Then it's relayered with a mixture of Thondia Brown and Abaddon Black. It's highlighted with Storm Vermin Fur. The trim is done with Steel Legion Drab, and then all of it gets a spot highlight of Karak Stone. And I'm really pleased with how that's come out. I think it looks fabulous, personally. Big fan of that. Big fan of it. There we go. Right. Time for the bit that's going to make or break. A touch of Cyberite Green. I'm going to put some targeting data. So there's the slight change that I'm going to make here is instead of drawing a route through the map, I'm just going to add a couple of little square targets to my city map. I think it'll just make it a little bit easier to freehand it in. Maybe I'll change my mind and draw a little line between them, but we'll have to see. We'll figure it out as we're going along. I'll see how confident I feel in the moment. This is what we do. Once that Fugan orange is dry, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Cyberite green, and we're going to start this take again because we didn't tell future Josh to re-edit. Replace audio Cyberite green freehand targeting data. Once that Fugan orange is all dry, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Cyberite green, not grin. You might be grinning as you're doing this because it looks cool. Anyway, we're going to take some thinned down Cyberite green, and we're going to use this to add just a little bit of targeting data to our map. So we're going to do a couple of little squares somewhere that we want the Votan to blow up. Done. I'm pretty pleased with that. I think I'm going to do a third square though, in the bottom corner. I think it's finished. Good morning, Yun Yun. Yeah, I think he's done. That's cool. I'm calling it done. I think it's finished. He looks great. Love the greenish. Well, thank you very much. You'll be able to see how I do this on, well, on this video, but also on the Ironkin Steeljacks. It's basically the same as what we did on the older Great Arthurian League, but there's just a slight couple of little tweaks here and there, just to make it a little bit more, I guess, impactful, I guess is what I would say. I guess my real question is, what are the Votan? I'll throw it back right at you. Why are the Votan? But what if we don't think it's finished? Well, do you think it's finished, Thomas? Need to have a better look. Rewind. Right, I need that. It's right there. There we go. So I'm going to pop some... Wow. Okay. Astrogranite. On it goes. There we go. All done. Will you shade the astrogranite as it is lighter? Yes. So that astrogranite, my Votan basing recipe is astrogranite shaded with Drakenhof Nightshade, dry brush with Tyrant Skull, and then it has some Valhallan Blizzard put over the top of it after some Winter Tufts from Gamer's Grasp. That's how I do the bases on the Votan. This is exciting. Because we managed to do this live. So we can do that live. 350. Boom! What is Valhalla Blizzard? It is snow. 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 It's snow problem. And so if you wait here 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Going to paint my corporation in standard corporate cornflower blue. Oh, I love it, James. I cannot wait to see it. This is what it looks like when it's finished. That's the basing scheme. And these are the steel jacks. So these are the steel jacks. This video is coming out this week. I'm a big fan of these models. I think they're really cool. Hang on. Got a bit of a warm camera situation going on here at the moment. Why has it gone yellow? Stop it. Maybe we do this. So this is who's next. It's the Arcanist Evaluator. Hang on. There we go. That's what we want. Here we go. So there's the steel jacks. So they're all done. Video coming this week. We have Bury Agneson. Here he is. Now his armor's a little bit different because as far as I could tell, it was a little bluer based on all the pictures and picture references I could see. So he's a little bit darker, but there he is. Is GW still producing Valhalla Blizzard? They should be. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. There he is. That video is coming this week as well. Hopefully going to get this one out on Tuesday and the steel jacks on Thursday, but we'll have to see. And of course, a video that's already available if you're into your Space Marines, we have Vulcan Histan as well. Here he is. This video is already available now for your perusal. If you would like to see how to paint him, you already can. I was very pleased with how this came out. So there you go. Exciting week of content. Will you be posting a Wolfguard Terminator video? I hope so, yes, Lord Drev, because I've got an event at the beginning of September that I want to take Space Wolves to. And I need to paint the 5 Wolfguard. I need to finish them. But I also need to do 5 Deathwing Terminators for that as well. So hopefully, again, this is one of those neat little balancing acts of hopefully we can get both those filmed, because I will just do them, because why not? We're doing them anyway. Haven't got videos on them. Well, we do have a video on Deathwing Terminators, Deathwing Knights, but might as well just do it again, you know? Maybe I won't do the Deathwing, I can't decide. But yes, Wolfguard Terminators hopefully will get done, because I am going to that thing and they need to be built and painted. Well, they're built and they're started, but they're not a lot's happened on them. How does his cloak billow with all that metal inside trim? Looks ace though. Who knows? Who knows? It's probably because they do a non-metallic metal version of it, and I was like, nah, we're gonna go for a dulled metal look is what we're gonna go for. Good video. Thank you, Captain Manrings. I really prefer your take on the inside of the cloak. Thank you very much, James. Vulcan looks epic. Thank you, Mr. Gwatkin. Yes, they are still making it. Good. Still have Space Wolves to finish, and I need to start Valhallans and destroy an Imperial Guard to do. Then you probably need your Valhallan Blizzard by the bucketful. So yeah, the Votann content lineup looks like it's going to be Bury, Ironkin Steeljacks, the Memnyr Strategist, and the Arcanist Evaluator. That's what it looks like it's going to be. If I have time, I will also do the Capricus in the sort of local security armor style that I want to do it in. Basically black with red and yellow markings here and there, but we'll have to see how time goes, how time flies. Oh, had a very itchy eye then, very suddenly. So yeah. Four Votann videos isn't bad. Okay, I'm back. Did one leg in the main and now want to die, so we'll see if I get more horse highlights done this week. I believe in you, who the heck is Jack. You can do it. Your videos have changed this entire hobby. Thank you so much for all of your patience and videos. You're very kind, Lord Drev. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. I love your videos. I can never seem to get the same effect with the contrast paint. I'm sorry, Matthew. Do you want me to do a quick... Speaking of Wolfguard Terminators, do you know what? We'll very quickly do... We'll do a coat of Tyran Blue on one of them, because that's what needs to happen. So you can see how far we go, and I'll talk you through it, right? Hopefully this will help you. We've done this before on the channel. There's a couple of things. There's a stream that's called How to Avoid Splotches and Blotches. That exists here on the channel. You can go back and watch that. I do need to edit that into a proper video. But one of the very first things that you can do to try and help yourself with contrast painting is use Lamia medium. If you use a little bit of Lamia medium, it improves the flow, which means it stays wetter for longer, which means it's easier to manipulate and it's easier to move around the model. Now, I am going to be using a shade paint because, you know, that is the next thing, but the technique is exactly the same. So, in order to make things a little bit easier on yourself, the mixture that I recommend when you're wanting to improve the flow is 4 parts contrast paint, whatever it is. So that's 4 brush loads, 1, 2, 3, and 4 brush loads down on your dry palette, not a wet palette, a dry palette, and then just 1 brush load of Lamia medium in there to help improve the flow. And yes, I'm mixing this off camera, but that's because that's where my palette is. But what that will do is it will just add a little bit of basically like familiar wetness to your paint. And familiar wetness is basically just like, it feels more like water at that point rather than contrast paint. Contrast paint in and of itself is quite gloopy. Now, when it comes to actually applying this to your model, you want to take this a section at a time. You don't want to try and just tackle things like you would a base or a layer paint. No. And you don't do 2 coats. That's something as well. That's what I've been figuring out. There's a lot of people do 2 thin coats of the contrast paint and wonder why it's so much darker. No. If I don't say it's 2 coats in the video, then it's not 2 coats. But you take this a section at a time. You take it a piece at a time. So we start on this foot down here by coming over on this side and going right in there to where that recess is, and we bring it round and over and make sure we do all of it. Now, I already made a mistake there, so we're just going to have to quickly go on to this bit anyway, just to make sure that we don't get it wrong. So what we're doing here is, you can see, we're kind of just blocking it in very, very carefully, and we're using just the tip of our brush to do so. We're not trying to bend out the bristles like we're stroking it on. We're gliding across the surface of the model. So if you were to stroke the paint on, it would look like this. See what I mean? No, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're taking it really, really gently. Just going across. See how my bristles don't really bend that much? They do a little bit, of course. But you just want to go like this, keeping it towards the tip. Notice how I'm doing it section by section as well. And that way, the paint has recesses to run into, which is where you want the darker stuff to end up. See? One thing I would recommend is, if you can, film yourself doing this just once. And if it looks like this, then you're doing it right. At least the way I do things. If it doesn't look like this, then that's where you're going wrong. The reason we're doing this and sticking towards the tip of the brush is because what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to tease out more of that lighter pigment that's in contrast paint versus that heavier pigment that is in contrast paint. It's always going to be there, but what generally tends to happen with your brushes is that the heavier pigment collects in the belly of the brush, and that's kind of like the main kind of body of the brush, and the lighter pigment sticks towards the outside. So when you just glide across the surface like this, you're transferring the paint through the brush onto the model in the same way that a fountain pen works. Right? Because even those little round bits, that's a whole section of model. If you try and do the whole leg at once, you're going to run into issues. There you go. That's a set of legs done. There you go. See what I mean? Does that help? Does brush size matter? Yes, brush size does matter. I use medium layers and small layer brushes. The reason being is that medium layer brushes and small layer brushes aren't designed to hold loads and loads of paint. What some people will recommend is using something like a shade brush, but what a shade brush does is a shade brush collects a lot of paint in order for you to, a lot of very, very thin paint in order for you to apply lots of shade over a wide area. When you use contrast paint, what it does is it just picks up a load of dark pigment in the brush, and then when you try and apply it, it all runs out onto the model, and that's where it ends up looking really, 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 really dark, and just a bit of a bleh, as it were. Medium layer brush and a small layer brush, they're much tighter as brushes. They're meant for applying base and layer paints in a layer format, basically, is basically how they're designed. But when you use contrast paints, what they don't do is collect up as much of that thick paint, or that heavier pigment that's the darker stuff. So you use a smaller brush, slightly smaller brush. Don't use too small a brush. Use a small or a medium layer brush, whichever you prefer. You can go a little bit bigger than a medium layer brush, but don't use something that's designed for shading. Also, don't use anything that's flat. So like a base brush from Games Workshop, for example. The large base brush from Games Workshop is this thing. That's the large base brush. You can see it's really flat. It's not great for applying paint because it's so flat. It doesn't hold a lot of paint inside. This is a really old one. I need to give it a good clean because it's, you know, full of thing. Oh, there we go. It just went. There we go. I have a hard time getting medium out of the plot. Like, it doesn't want to stick sometimes to my brush. Little trick for that, Francisco, is wash your brush before you use the medium, always. But just touch it on the back of your hand rather than dry it off, right? So, like, if you've got your, let's say, your medium layer brush, wash the brush and then just touch it on the back of your hand like that, because what it does is, whilst it's still wet, the bristles are a little bit more open, you see. So rather than like fully dry it off like that, because if you fully dry it off, what you're doing is you're closing all the gaps. You're teasing all the paint out. And all the water out. So either touch it on the back of your hand or on a piece of tissue paper, but don't wipe all that water off. Touch it on, because then what it does is you're looking, when you're transferring paint, you're looking for your brush to look a little bit like that, basically. So if we have our lamy medium, what you should see, because my bristles are all splayed out, what you should see is when I pick up a big old dollop of it, you see, that's almost like got a drip in it. Whereas if I wash the brush, take all the water off, reshape the brush, make it nice and tight, and I try and do the same thing, I don't get anywhere near as much. So I have to go back for a second pass, and sometimes a third to get it to the same amount. I was wondering where you get your background music for your recorded videos. I get all of my background music, even the music that is being listened to right now, I get it all from Epidemic Sound. It's royalty free. It is this place. Thanks for the quick demo. Didn't mean to hijack your stream. It's absolutely fine. We were at the end. We finished the Memnyr Strategist. Didn't have much else to talk about for the next quarter of an hour to 20 minutes. So you gave us a wonderful distraction, a wonderful extension to the stream. We don't hear any music. Oh, it is there. There you go. Kaz, welcome to Warhipster. Thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very kind of you. You are our first new member of the week. There we go. Anyone else have any other questions? We're going to stream for a couple more minutes, about 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to go and cook birthday tea with Alice for her birthday. Not mine. Be a bit early for mine. Mine's not for another month. 46 days. 30 days in September, April, June, November, 31. Yeah. 26, 26, 26. Yeah. Yeah. Did you find Bury was a challenge to paint? It has such lovely detail. No, I thought it was pretty easy. What is birthday tea? Tonight's dinner. We're having breakfast for dinner. Is what we're having. So there's bacon, eggs, sausages, mushrooms, beans, hash browns as well. Lovely. That's what we're having. Are there any models you haven't yet painted that you'd love to? Yeah, I just don't know what they are yet. Any alternative for Gracia? Love the primer but can't find any in Chile. I don't know. There's people in the chat that would be better suited to answering that question. Was that Alice's request? Yes, it was. Yeah. It's not just me. If it was me, we'd be having sausages, chips and beans. That's my favourite dinner. Because I am a child. And having jelly and ice cream for pudding as well. If you have an airbrush, Sebastian, there are some Gracia equivalents from Vallejo and stuff like that. I'm not sure what the names are of them, but a cursory Google will find it. Grey Ghoul from Colourforge is another one. That's another primer can. I don't know if you get that in Chile yet, but that is an option. The other option you have, it's perfectly fine, is to use any white primer. You just want to make sure it's not a glossy white primer, because if it's glossy, then your contrast paints won't adhere to it very well. You'll have to matte varnish it in order before they'll work. But yeah, I'm sure that, like I said, chat will know if there's any thingy. Any way to prime figures if you can't acquire spray paint and don't own an airbrush? Yeah, I mean, you can do them by hand. You can use the base paints and use a brush to do it as well. That's another way of doing it. But those are the only ways I know. The other way would be to like hardcore dry brush it on. You'll get a slightly dustier finish there, but yeah. Anyway, that is the end of our stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to finish things up there. So yes, I hope you had fun tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back on Wednesday, hopefully, weather permitting. Don't know what we're going to do yet, but we'll do something. Hopefully something entertaining and something fun. We shall see. I hope you enjoyed this one, because this one was good. We got a model finish. We crossed 350 on the year, 150 away from the goal. And we've got 4 months to do it. Can we do it? Can we paint 150 models in 4 months? Maybe. We shall have to see. I'm sure we probably can. We'll figure it out. Anyway, like I said, this week there is at least 3 Votan videos coming your way. Bury Agniason, the Ironkin Steeljacks, and the Memnyr Strategist. I'm going to try my darndest to get the Arcanist Evaluator done today / tomorrow. So you've got all those to look forward to. And then we've got other stuff coming next week. But we'll talk about that next week, I'm sure. So thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. Here is the hand of farewell, and I shall wave it at you. I hope you will have a great rest of your week if I don't speak to you on Wednesday. If I do speak to you on Wednesday, I hope you're still having a great Tuesday, and a Monday, and a Wednesday. All this good stuff. Anyway, I will see you all very soon in the next one. Love you, chat. Bye!